to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance.
Hey, good afternoon from the Georgia WeatherNet 24/7 Storm Center. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen. The time is 5:29, and we do have a tornado warning, an active tornado warning now in effect for portions of Upson County, Talbot County, and Taylor County. This is in effect until 6:15. Doppler radar indicating a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over the Howard community. That's about 9 miles southeast of Talbotton, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. There's the possibility of a tornado in this storm. This is radar identified rotation. So as we take a look at our velocity tool, and we zoom in closer here, this is a little bit ragged, but we've been watching this broad rotation all the way from really southwest of Geneva, and this has been continuing to move toward the northeast. Again, around 35 miles per hour or so has been the movement of this storm system, and the rotation has been hanging in there. So we are just keeping an eye on that and making sure that this does not turn into a tornadic situation, but there is the possibility of that. Again, this is radar-indicated rotation. We have no spotters on the ground seeing this. And besides, there's not really anything you could see with this storm because this is rain wrap. This is a very large rain wrap storm, so there is nothing to see here, even if there was a spotter on the ground. But it is important to be in your tornado-safe place anywhere within this tornado warning polygon. So let's see if we can turn the telestrator off here, and maybe not. All right, there we go. So bear with me just a second, and we'll get some of these communities in here. So this is a pretty rural area here of eastern Talbot County, and then moving into portions of Taylor County. Again, over the Howard community is where our big concern is. We do have Carsonville just to the north of the main part of this rotation, but Carsonville, you are in the tornado warning polygon, and the Salem community just outside of the polygon. So we'll see if we can get the telestrator to work again. This is going to be Salem. Carsonville is right along US 80 right here. So if you know anyone in this area or you're in that area, Carsonville, make sure that they are in their tornado safe place right now. Lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows. So the tornado warning in effect until 6:15. This is for southeastern Upson County, southeastern Talbot County, and northwestern Taylor County. And if you'll bear with me just a moment, going to get this stream going on our Facebook page as well, so we make sure that we get this out to everyone across the state of Georgia. This is the Georgia WeatherNet, and I'll zoom out just to give you a big picture where we're talking about. This is well south of Metro Atlanta. We do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings up a little bit closer to Metro Atlanta, southwest Metro Atlanta, and some very, very strong wind with these storms. This one line that we're looking at here, just to the west of Metro Atlanta, moving out of Carroll County. That was producing 50 to 60 mile an hour straight line winds. Also looked like a lot of very strong wind going into Noonan as well, beginning to cross Interstate 85. So that severe thunderstorm warning there for portions of Coweta County until 6 o'clock. Then we have this severe thunderstorm warning to the north of that. That's in effect until 5:45. But our main concern right now is going to be this tornado warning. And so we're getting down into Taylor County and Talbot County. And again, watching that rotation here on radar, mainly in the eastern part of Talbot County, now crossing into Taylor County near the Howard community along State Route 96. Butler, you are not in the warning polygon. Carsonville, you are in the warning polygon. So if you are in Carsonville and south of Carsonville, heading down Highway US 19 there toward Butler, need to be in your tornado-safe place right now. Lowest level, most interior room, away from doors and windows. And again, just bear with me a second as we get this posted to our Facebook page. We want to make sure we get everybody covered. We are live here on YouTube and also now going live on the Georgia WeatherNet Facebook page with our severe weather coverage. We do have again, a couple of those severe thunderstorm warnings also overlaying this tornado warning, and that does cover Talbotton, but the bulk of that cell is out of there. So the yellow box that you see is a severe thunderstorm warning. Portions of that have been canceled, but we do have the tornado warning now On top of that, that is still covering Junction City, Howard, and Carsonville. Not quite the Salem, but if you know anyone in the Salem community, you need to let them know to be in their tornado-safe place as well, because that storm is moving that way, or at least be prepared and be on standby for that to move in. So right now, the main part of the vortex, let's take a look at the velocity again. Yeah, there we go. That's starting to tighten up quite a bit. So what we're looking at here is right in here. So right above Highway 96, that connects Junction City to Butler. Howard is right here on the county line. So this is just passing right over the community of Howard. And Carsonville is up in this area right here. So this is going to pass just to the south of Carsonville, but anywhere along Highway 208, at State Highway 208, where it crosses with 19, that's where we're expecting this storm to go next, if it stays on its current path, and we expect that it will. So this tornado warning in effect until 6:15. Time now is 5:35. This is the Georgia Weather Net. If you're just joining us, we're breaking in with live severe weather coverage. Very active weather day out to our west. Out in Alabama, you can still see a lot of activity in Alabama, and all that's pushing into the state of Georgia right now. And we do have an extension here of a severe thunderstorm warning, now covering Blakely, getting down into the southwest corner of the state, down in Early County. And Blakely under that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me pop on the composite radar so we can get a little better idea of what's happening there. A little out of reach of our radar. So this is showing that cell that's moving in. Looks like stretching down from Dothan all the way across the state line, now heading into northern Early County. So severe thunderstorm warning there until 6:30. All right, let's jump back to our tornado warning. This is going to be our main concern right now. We've been watching this rotation for about the last 20 minutes or so. It's been very broad rotation, but the rotation has been there. So the Weather Service deciding to go ahead and pull the trigger on this tornado warning, since the rotation there was prevalent. Let's take a look at another scan of the velocity. Yeah, we still have that couplet. Does appear to be weakening somewhat, but the cell itself is still very organized, and we can see that. We go back to the reflectivity. You see this is a monster storm, so a lot of rainfall in this. Down to the southwest, get up above Buena Vista. There's going to be some heavy rainfall there, possibility of some hail in that above Cuseta, and then moving up back into the main cell here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our debris tracker, and I don't see any cause for concern with any sort of debris. So this is what we would look at to see if we have any debris lofted in the air. It doesn't look like that's the case right now. And that couplet is starting to broaden out somewhat. So right here's our main concern. We're past Junction City. Again, Howard is right here. So this is continuing to track toward the northeast. Going to be moving up that intersection there of Highway 208 and US 19. That's south of Carsonville, but that area need to be in your tornado-safe place until this storm passes. All right, and I'm just taking a look at some other radar tools that we have here. Let me go ahead and flip back to our reflectivity here so you can take a look at that, and I'll put it in motion for you so you can see these storms, how they're tracking toward the north and east. And I'm just checking out some of our other radar tools. It's not seeing any sort of indication that this did drop a tornado. So that would be good news. A lot of these storms, they've been moving through Alabama and the Georgia. They kind of get that rotation going. It looks a little threatening for 5 to 10 minutes, and then they broaden back out again, and that's it. It kind of has to do with really the speed and the motion of these storms, that they're just not holding together for a very long time. At least the rotation isn't. The strength and the structure of the storm has been holding together across multiple states. So plenty of juice in the atmosphere to get these storms going. But the good news is the rotation has been fairly short-lived with most of these storms as they've moved across Alabama, now moving into Georgia. So we do have a tornado watch in effect for a good part of the state, and we'll see if we can zoom out, maybe get that pulled up here. Another tornado warning out in Alabama. We're going to watch that, as this possibly could be moving up toward the Columbus area. If it holds together, this is a pretty stretched out warning polygon there, so that's an indicator that that storm is moving fairly quickly. See if we can get a speed on that. Well, 39 miles per hour. So possibly they're seeing a couple of cells there, so that's why they have a fairly long warning polygon. But still some more storms to move into the Columbus area and up toward Caseta. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Got another scan of our radar. Let's take a look at the velocity. Yeah, this is really starting to broaden out a great deal. So I think we may get this warning expired a little sooner than 6:15. I sure hope so. It's 5:39 right now, so that will be, I think that this storm would be out of the warning polygon by 6:15 if they were to hold on to it. But as for right now, it is still active. So severe thunderstorm warning now. We'll get into Metro Atlanta. Let's zoom out and take you up to Atlanta. It should be popping up here any moment now. This is going to be for Clayton, Cobb, DeKalb, Douglas, Fulton, Paulding County. Severe thunderstorm warning. And it's taking a second for it to update here on the map, but I'll give you the latest information that we have here. We're getting this so fast. There it goes. There's a big box right there that just popped up, that yellow box. That's for southeastern Paulding, southwestern DeKalb, southern Cobb, eastern Douglas, southwestern Fulton, and northwestern Clayton County. So this is Atlanta, southwest Atlanta, and this is going to be in effect until 6:15. Doppler radar indicating severe thunderstorms, plural, located along a line extending from near Winston to Chapel Hill to Campbellton to near Palmetto and near Canongate. This is moving east at 45 miles per hour. So these are some fast-moving storms, and that's also going to give us a wind component. All these storms, of course, going to have gusty wind, but this is really going to, when you get a storm moving that fast and you have the wind involved in it as well, you're only going to add to the intensity. So possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. So this could damage roofs, siding, and trees. So the city of Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, you are in this warning polygon. South Fulton, Douglasville, Smyrna, East Point, Union City, Riverdale, College Park. We mentioned Palmetto, Lithia Springs, the airport, Midtown, Grant Park, all under this severe thunderstorm warning. So, yeah, this is a big warning polygon, and it's covering a lot of population. So downtown Atlanta, South Atlanta, the airport, and then out west, we do have this severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Paulding, DeKalb, Cobb, Douglas, Fulton, and Clayton County. Let's head back down to our tornado warning that we have down in Taylor County, Talbot County. Talbotton, you got that heavy rain still going on, but you're going to be in the clear as far as any concern for a tornado. Let's go look at the velocity. Yeah, there's still that broad rotation there. So the question is, anytime we see the rotation broaden out, will it tighten back up again where we have to be concerned, or is that the end? Is it starting to deteriorate? And honestly, there's no way to know that for sure until you actually see it play out. But if this storm is going to follow the pattern of the other storms that we've been watching all day long, out in Alabama, moving across the state line into Georgia, we should see this begin to lose that rotation and just hang on to the rain and the gusty straight line wind. So let's hope that this storm will follow the pattern of the rest of the storms. All right, I was going to show you that that tornado watch, and let's see if we can get that pulled up. It's going to take a second to populate, and I'll turn off the radar information. So here we go. This is covering a good part of the state of Georgia, really the western half of the Georgia. If you cut Georgia in half, western half, but also extending up into Athens, Clark County, and Oconee County, Gainesville, Hall County, you're under the tornado watch. This is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, so conditions are favorable for a tornado, and we've already had a few counties released from the tornado watch up here in extreme northwest Georgia, up in Walker, Dade, Catoosa, Chattooga County, and Whitfield, Murray counties. They all got released from the tornado watch a little bit earlier, so that's good. And then we had some areas added down in southwest Georgia, including Albany, Americus, Blakely. This part was added just, about an hour or so ago. So we do have the tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock, and that's going to cover Atlanta, Columbus, and Albany. And just know that those conditions are favorable for the tornadoes, as we're seeing right now with that one tornado warning that we currently have here in the state of Georgia. So now let's see if we can figure out how to turn this off. We'll go back to our radar shot here out of the Atlanta radar. Zoom back in, head back down to Taylor County, just above Butler. And let's see, Upson County as well in that tornado-worn polygon. So we've been talking about Taylor and Talbot County, but also the southern portion of Upson County not covering Thomaston. All right, Thomaston, you're not in the tornado warning, but the rural part of southern Upson County, down US 19, just to the west of Salem. Salem is right here, so we're talking just outside of the warning polygon, but certainly downstream, so worth paying attention to as the storm continues to progress. Let's go flip back to the velocity and see what we have. All right, this is really starting to weaken, and I'm just waiting for any word from the Weather Service. Just got this update here. The tornado warning is going to stay in effect for Taylor and Upson County, so they're going to take that out of Talbot County. So Talbot County, as I mentioned just a moment ago, you're in the clear. There you go. The polygon just got a little bit smaller, but they're going to go and hang on to this just because we still see some rotation there. It's very broad. It's not threatening. Let's take a look at the debris tracker, not showing any debris. So hopefully this did not touch down. But we're going to hang on to the tornado warning until 6:15. And this is over really Carsonville, just to the south of Carsonville. I wish we could pull that up on the map, but I'll throw the telestrator on here to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Carsonville's right up in here, so along US 80, just to the west of 19. And the bulk of the storm, you can see, is really moving right over Carsonville. And then the rotating portion of the storm is really just to the south, now crossing the intersection at 208 and US 19. So this storm is moving toward the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We're looking at strong straight-line winds with this as well. So even though this may not be producing a tornado at the moment, straight-line winds are a concern. And I'm just going to take a look at what we have on the estimated wind on the ground. Could be seeing wind gust up to, could be 50 to 55 mile-an-hour wind gusts with this cell. So, yeah, that's certainly something you don't want to be caught in unprepared, and that's why we're making sure you're prepared here on the Georgia Weather Net. So still portions of Taylor County and southern Upson County, Crawford County, you're going to be downstream of this storm, so Roberta and Knoxville, you just need to be prepared. Not saying that you have a warning yet and that there's anything very, very close by, but if this continues to move that direction, see if we can put a track on that. Okay, Roberta is going to be just outside of our polygon, but if it gets there, it'll be there around 6:10 or so, and then looking up toward Musella around 6:08. So still got a little ways to go. The storm moving at about 35 miles per hour. So just some time to get prepared in Crawford County. As I mentioned, Talbot County in the clear, but our brunt of the storm is still going to be moving through now the northern portion of Taylor County. Well above Butler, no problems in Butler other than the rain. Got some straight line winds, but we don't issue warnings for rain. You can handle the rain. It's the tornadoes that we have to be concerned with, and obviously any issues with severe hail. That's where we start to get those warnings. And speaking of that, I'm just kind of looking down here toward the south now, heading into Marion County, northern part of Marion County, and really starting to push into the western Taylor County with this cell. Let's grab the telestrator here. Right here, we could be seeing some hail being produced maybe within this core right here in this core as well. And this is going to be continuing to move through northern Marion County, now heading toward Taylor County. A very, very rural area right there, but still, we have folks that live there, and very important that we make sure we get that word out to everyone. Let's just reset, zoom out, and take a look at what we have going on big picture. One tornado warning still on the board. That broad rotation continues to be a factor. We'll take a look at our two severe thunderstorm warnings that we have closer to metro Atlanta. So one is going to be the southern storm is in effect until 6 o'clock. That's for southwestern Fayette County and Coweta County. And then the northern warning polygon, that's a big one, and that covers a lot of population. and that's going to be covering portions of Paulding, DeKalb, Cobb, Douglas, Fulton, and Clayton counties, including downtown, midtown Atlanta, and the Atlanta-Jackson-Hartsfield International Airport. So, yeah, a lot of people and a lot of things going on with this thunderstorm, actually a cluster of thunderstorms, and wind is the main factor with this. Let's just real quickly take a look at the velocity just to make sure we don't have any rotation. Not seeing, we'll keep an eye on that little portion there, but not seeing any real defined couplets, so don't think this is going to turn into a tornado-warned storm, but the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour plus wind gust are very possible with these clusters of thunderstorms now moving toward the west side of the perimeter, moving across 285, and I would not want to be on I don't want to be on 285 on a sunny, nice day, but when you have buckets and buckets of rain coming down, which is just about ready to start happening on the west side perimeter, that is going to be an absolute mess. So if you are in that area or you know somebody that takes that side of 285, if they can just sit tight for just a little bit, we'll get this storm, looks like should be probably past I-85 in about 15 minutes, according to our storm tracker. But then it'll be the east side perimeter that we'll be concerned about, and then obviously down around the airport and on the south end of the city. All right, let's head on back down, speaking of south, and looks like our tornado warning has been canceled, so that's good news. So it is off the board altogether. There's that cell that we were watching. We'll just go back and take a look at what the velocity. Yeah, there's still that very broad rotation, but it's just been hanging there for so long. The Weather Service has just had enough of it, so that has been canceled. So Taylor, Upson County, you are in the clear. Got a report coming in from northwest Georgia up in Polk County, so that's going to be right here with just some light to moderate rain right now, but multiple trees down across the county. Cedartown, Wilson Road, Rockmart, and Yarborough Road in Rockmart with multiple trees down. So there is a storm report coming out of northwest Georgia as a result of those cells. So everything's good and quiet now with this round of storms for Polk County and Floyd County and Rome. But as we look downstream, we're heading into North Metro Atlanta. So that line that's moving into Roswell and Alpharetta, that was all part of that system that brought the trees down over in Polk County around Cedartown and Rockmart. So just know that those storms are moving your way and continuing to track toward the northeast. These storms moving 35 to 40 miles per hour. So fortunately hitting some more stable air. So we deal with this a lot, especially this time of year. North Georgia, north of I-20. It just seems like a broken record. We talk about the air is a little more stabilized. The atmosphere doesn't have all that instability, and that's one of the three ingredients you need if you really want to get some strong thunderstorms to pop up. You have to have instability, and this, you can see how the rain is just kind of all spread out. Still going to be heavy rain, and we still could have a flooding concern, but what we're really concerned with when it comes to tornadoes is when you get down here, you see these cells are a little bit more isolated, so they have a little bit of room to breathe. The air is, the upper level of the atmosphere is very unstable, and when that hits that's when we get the fireworks. And we do have what we call wind shear, so that's a change in direction of the wind when we go up in altitude, and that's what gets those storms to spin up. So let's just take a look at this. We're going to go out to Alabama now. I know this is the Georgia Weather Net, but what happens in Alabama usually ends up here in Georgia, so we are watching this cell. Out in Alabama. Is that going to be Randolph County? No, it's going to be well south of Randolph. Let's see. That's going to be down around Bullock County and Barber County, Alabama, right on the Barber-Bullock County, Alabama line. So if that storm holds together, may or may not, it's going to be kind of running into some rain-cooled air ahead of that. That will be moving in toward possibly Columbus, could be Chattahoochee County or parts of Stewart County in Georgia if that holds together. So we'll just watch that just down the line. All right, got another warning popping up here. Let's see what we got. Also going through some more storm reports. So severe thunderstorm warning. All right, this is going to be a little bit more around Metro Atlanta, South Metro Atlanta. And there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6:15. This is for portions of Clayton, Coweta, Fayette, Henry, and Spalding County. Doppler radar indicating a severe thunderstorm near Peachtree City, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So, again, another fast-moving storm system. This is right over the radar, too. So, hopefully we can get a good view of this as it passes over. But this moving east at 40 miles per hour, so the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust with this storm system. Locations in this storm include Griffin and Fayetteville, Jonesboro, Peachtree City, the Weather Service office in line for this one, Hampton, Riverdale, Sonoy, Lovejoy, Brooks, Sunnyside, Stars Mill, also in there as well. So again, until 6:15, severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Spalding, Fayette, Henry, Coweta, and Clayton County. Another big warning polygon there. So we have warnings really stretching from Vinings and northwest metro Atlanta all the way down south, getting into Sonoy, Harrelson with those thunderstorms. So one of the other things that can happen when you get this kind of heavy rain on top of the Doppler radar, it can start to muddy some of the returns out a little bit further. So that's another problem that we face when we get the storms very close to the radar. We would like to keep all that away from the radar, and then we can get a good shot of everything, especially 20, 30 miles out. But that's not the way it is right now. We have a very heavy thunderstorm moving over the Weather Service office there in Peachtree City right now, and severe thunderstorm warning for that. So back down south, let's go ahead and turn on the composite radar again so we can get another little better view of this. I'll tell you what we can do. We'll flip over to our Alabama radar and turn off composite so we can get another shot here. Yeah, these storms, these can be troublesome, especially when you start to look at this structure. When you get a little inflow like this, right? You see this sort of C shape of the storm. That's when you can end up running into some problems with a lot of fuel for these storms and some rotation. So as for right now, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. It is not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning. But we're going to keep a close eye on the development of that cell. This is covering portions of Early County, including Blakely, and then in the Clay County, all of Clay County is in this severe thunderstorm warning, and the western half of Calhoun County, including Edison in western Calhoun County. So, these cells are ones that you really, really need to keep an eye on and not let these don't want to take these for granted. It's very important that you are prepared for any of these storms to spin up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the velocity on this just to see if we have anything. It doesn't look like anything's trying to spin up right now, but again, we're going to stay very vigilant on that, not let it sneak up on us. So if you're just joining us, we were live. We had a tornado warning down around Talbotton and down into Taylor County. That has expired, and we'll kind of zoom in just to check up on those storms and see how everything's going. Still a little muddy there. Let's flip back to the Atlanta radar, and we'll get a little better shot of that, although they're really getting a real beating with the storms there at Peachtree City. And go back and take a look at velocity. This is what we were looking at before. You still see some very broad rotation right here. This hasn't changed at all in the last several sweeps. So I don't think there's a real concern for a tornado there. If that tightens up again, we will certainly let you know about that. But if you're in Roberta and Knoxville, I don't think you have anything to be concerned about in terms of tornadoes right now in Crawford County. But we do have that broad rotation now moving into western Crawford County. And a pretty strong thunderstorm there, producing some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour and very, very heavy rainfall. Metro Atlanta, you got three big ones, three big severe thunderstorm warnings covering a lot of territory and a lot of population. So we're talking about portions of Fayette and Coweta County, Spalding, Henry, Clayton County, and then that northern polygon is covering portions of Douglas and Cobb, Fulton County, including downtown Atlanta, and then into northern Clayton County, including the Atlanta airport. And it is moving right over the airport right now. So I don't think any planes are landing or taking off at the moment. at the Atlanta Jackson Hartsfield International Airport, because it is absolutely pouring, and that wind is very strong as well. We can actually see that on the velocity tool. And let me flip over and just take a look at one of my other radar sites here. Yeah, not really getting a good indication of what the wind is like there, but again, we were looking at 50, 60 mile an hour wind gust moving out of Carroll County and then moving in toward South Fulton and Coweta County a little earlier. So that's what is going over the airport area right now. This is the Georgia Weather Net. We're coming up on 6 o'clock. We're going to stay live with you for just a little bit longer and just follow these storms as they continue to move through metro Atlanta, and also those clusters of storms down in southwest Georgia, down around Blakely, Fort Gaines, and just near the Providence Canyon State Park. Cutbirth experiencing some strong thunderstorms there as well, but not severe. Let's take a look at, just kind of look through and see what other damage reports we have. So some reports of some damage in Upson County. Let's scroll back up and head into South Metro Atlanta. Here we go. Thomaston, Upson County. So some reports there on US 19 South Logtown Road with some trees down, possible flooding. We'll find out a little more about that soon. Tree down and power line down on Joe Cox Road up in Coweta County. So yeah, the straight line winds certainly packing a punch. And we had some broad rotation. Let's flip back to our velocity and see what we have. Been not really showing that now. Just had some reports of some broad rotation in South Fulton County, but that doesn't appear to be an issue at the moment. But we will certainly continue to keep an eye on it for sure. Tornado watch remains in effect until 9 o'clock tonight for a good part of the state of Georgia. Covers all of Atlanta, covering Macon, Columbus, Albany. So really, if you cut Georgia in half, west and east, most of the western half of Georgia is under a tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight. Portions of that watch up in extreme northwest Georgia, up in Dade, Walker, Catoosa, Chattooga, Whitfield, Murray counties, they were dropped a little earlier, but a good portion of the state still under a tornado watch. And actually just got word now that we're going to lose a few more counties on the watch. So we'll see who that is in just a second. Before we do that, Coweta County has been cleared from that tornado or severe thunderstorm warning, but the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Clayton, Fayette, Henry, and Spalding County until 6:15. So there you go. That's that southern storm there. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that, and still the possibility of a tornado. And we have those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with these cells here as well. This is actually multicellular storm. This isn't one storm, but you can't really pick out the cells necessarily unless you look very, very closely. And even if you do, it doesn't really matter because they are kind of working together here to produce some very heavy rainfall. Now heading up through Fayetteville and beginning to move in toward Clayton County and Jonesboro. And looks like still receiving a lot of rain at the Atlanta airport, starting to move out of the Atlanta airport area right now and moving toward the northeast and should be clearing out there soon. And just keep in mind, this is round one of more severe thunderstorms on the way. So we're expecting another round to be moving in later tonight into tomorrow morning. And that second line is going to take its time moving across the state and shouldn't be out of here crossing Savannah really in the coastline until tomorrow afternoon. So it is going to be a lot of weather to handle over the next 20 hours or so. And we're going to be right here covering everything as it happens across the state of Georgia. So I appreciate you watching here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the page if you are interested in receiving weather updates local. We don't cover places all over the state, or all over the country, rather. We do cover all over the state, but not all over the country. We're focused 100% here on the state of Georgia, and it doesn't matter if it's in downtown Atlanta or in Hayhira. We're going to have you covered because every single person in the state is important, and that's why we do what we do. here on the Georgia WeatherNet and on the Georgia WeatherNet radio stations across the state of Georgia. So we are proud to be here to do that for you and keep you up to date on what's going on. Severe thunderstorm warning for Douglas County. We saw this kind of get chopped off a little bit here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. So the portion for Douglas County has been canceled, but the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Clayton, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton County until 6:15. So, wow, that's right over downtown Atlanta right now. And as I mentioned earlier, driving on 285 on the west side of the city, it's still going to be a mess because there's going to be ponding on the highway out there, and that's just going to be a mess. But right now, the downtown connector is going to be really taking a beating, and then the storm system will continue to move toward the east side perimeter into DeKalb County, and that's going to be an issue there, heading through Decatur, Scottdale, and then moving as it holds together towards Stone Mountain. So what a mess. And I mentioned this on the video this morning and yesterday that travel through Atlanta right here at drive time in the afternoon was going to be very unpleasant, and here it is. The storms, hopefully some folks left a little bit early from work today. Otherwise, it's just best to kind of stay in. So right now the storm right over downtown Atlanta, crossing the connector, and continuing to move eastbound. And we'll put the storm tracker on this. If it continues on the track that it's on, should be in Decatur in the next 5 minutes. Tucker by 6:17, Snellville 6:31, and then we go way out and we take a look at Monroe around 6:47 if it continues at the current speed and holds together. And then we have our second warning polygon. Again, all these storms are just kind of linked together all in one line, but this is still covering portions of Fayette and Clayton County, northern Spalding County, and the extreme western side of Henry County, including Hampton and the racetrack. That is the Speedway. That's under the severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. So we'll zoom out and take a look at what we have. Let's go back down here to southwest Georgia, and we'll clip back over here to the Dothan radar. It'll take just a second to load. Remember, we're talking about this storm being kind of isolated on its own, so it doesn't really have to compete with other storms necessarily to get that strength, and it's still holding together. No problems with that. Rotation doesn't seem to be an issue on these storms, so let's keep it that way as it continues to move up between Bluffton and Fort Gaines. We're in the southwest corner of the state now. This is Clay County, and these storms are going to continue to move on into Randolph County, head toward the Coleman community if it holds together. It looks like it will, and then we have this other cell here kind of trailing behind, still moving through Alabama, now crossing the state line, going to be moving just above Luke and Blakely in Early County. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:30 for portions of Early, Clay, and the western half of Calhoun County, not including Morgan or Dickey, but Edison. You are in the warning polygon in western Calhoun County. So I think we're going to see these cells just clip the western half of Calhoun County. And that tornado warning still plugging along there in Alabama. That's going to be up in Barber County, Alabama. And then you see just ahead of that a severe thunderstorm warning. So I think they're hoping that the let's take a look at the velocity. Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah, that tornado warning is going to be extended. Let me just make sure that's not noise. No, that's rotation. And not seeing any debris necessarily. Let me flip over to this debris product and see what we have. And throw this in motion. Maybe. Let's see. Where does that line up? Possibly. We may possibly have a debris signature on this one. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Right here, that possibly could be a debris signature. It's pretty small. Not 100% sure on that, but let me circle this again and then compare this to our velocity just behind the velocity couplet. So right here's our couplet, so pretty close. So when those line up like that, there's the possibility that that could be debris signature. So This is going to be one we're going to watch out for, and I think we're going to see that warning extended there into Russell County, Alabama. And I know this is Alabama, not Georgia, but it's important to know where these are coming from. And because if it holds together and scoots across southern Russell County, it will probably head into Stewart or Chattahoochee County next. And that will be an impact for us here in the state. So, yeah, we're going to watch that one pretty close. Let's just look at this again. Yeah, that is very likely a tornado that probably did hit, that probably did make contact. So, yeah, we're going to watch that one as it continues to move now into Russell County, Alabama. All right, back up around the Atlanta area. Let's flip back over to the Atlanta radar so we can clean this up a little bit and see what we have. Yeah, these are some decent storms. We've got some big storms brewing down to the south as well of our warned area. So we may get another severe thunderstorm warning possibly down toward Pike County, maybe down into Meriwether County, Woodbury. You see the strong line of storms there moving through between Manchester and Woodbury. And that's going to be very windy, too, moving into western Upson County. So we're going to watch that one as well. May get a polygon issued on that one, but we'll see. Not going to jump the gun. Let's just concentrate on what we do have. Downtown Atlanta, the Atlanta airport, under that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. That continues to move now across I-85 and 75, across the connector through downtown, now moving into DeKalb County. So it looks like mainly South DeKalb is going to really take most of the beating from that storm. We go up toward the north. We get into Roswell and Alpharetta. Heavy rainfall there, but not severe. And then we go way up north, and things get really spread out. So this is the stuff we don't really worry about all that much. That's some pretty stable air. We get rain. We get some gusty wind, but it is pretty hard to get tornadoes and some really bad stuff to spin up when you get that. But get down in here where you have these lines that are a little more defined. That's going to be one of our concerns. All right, it is 6:11. Hopefully we'll get these two severe thunderstorm warnings to expire here in the next few minutes. I'm meteorologist KJ Allen here on the Georgia Weather Net. Thank you so much for watching our video here and staying up to date with what's going on. As you notice, we don't skip around to different states. We're focused right here on the state of Georgia. And I would appreciate you if you subscribe to our YouTube page so you can get updates. We give you a morning update and then updates when the weather turns bad. No hype, nothing of that nature. Just tell you what's going on. So let's go back down South Georgia again and see what we have in terms of our severe thunderstorm warning out around Blakely, Early County. Still watching those cells. See if we have any rotation to worry about. We don't. Let's see what we have going on over here in Bluffton. Yeah, we're going to watch that one. That cell moving just to the north of Bluffton, crossing US 27. And that's producing some heavy rainfall. Could see some wind gusts, 55, maybe 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts associated with that cell. And then these cells that are following back behind now crossing the state line, beginning to head into the state of Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning for Bibb and Crawford counties. So we're going to move up to middle Georgia now. And we'll have this pop up momentarily. We'll take a look at the Jeffersonville radar on this one. There you go. Possible tornado with this and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour possible with this severe thunderstorm warning. So this is going to be for Bibb County, that's Macon, and northern Crawford County until 6:45. Doppler radar indicating that severe thunderstorm over Roberta. We've been watching that one, moving east at 25 miles per hour. Possibility of 25-mile-an-hour wind gust with this. So Macon, Roberta, Payne City, Jack Brown Estates, Rutland, Knoxville, Lizella, Skipperton, Sandy Point, and the Horns community. All are in this severe thunderstorm polygon. You see that is now moving into Roberta and Knoxville in Crawford County, and is going to be continuing to move toward Macon. So downtown Macon, are we in or out? We're right on the edge in downtown Macon. You can see it takes you right to I-16 and up to the split there north of town. So we'll call downtown Macon in the warning polygon. So just be prepared for this strong thunderstorm. Macon, you're going to start to see the rain pick up over the next few minutes, and then that will intensify. It'll get quiet. You'll think it's over. Nope, that's just the first part. That's this part right here. And it'll get quiet here, and then you'll have a little more rain here. But this is what we're really watching. That's going to be the bulk of the severe thunderstorm as it is continuing to move that way. Let's put the tracker on. So once again, Roberta going to be experiencing this storm here in the next few minutes. Payne 7:02 and Macon at 7:08. And let's just take a look and make sure we're not seeing any sort of significant rotation. We're not. We have some broad rotation right in here, but that is not anything to be concerned with at the moment. But if that continues to tighten up, then that will certainly be something that we'll watch. So 2 areas here with severe thunderstorms covering a good bit of population. Atlanta and Macon, both under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And we have an update on our severe thunderstorm warning down to the south as we head down toward Early County. And the portion for Early County has been canceled, but we're going to hang on to Calhoun and Clay County until 6:30. So Calhoun, Clay County portion of this storm. This is a very small warning polygon right now. Not sure if we're going to see this extended up into Randolph County or Terrell County, but if it is, of course, I'll let you know about it. But those storms are really starting to lose quite a bit of strength, and that's kind of surprising, seeing that they're down there by themselves. They're on the south end of the of the system, so down toward the south, you got that warmer air, you got more humidity, closer to the Gulf, everything working for it. But now those storms just aren't really producing like they could, and I'm not complaining at all. All right, looks like our warnings for Atlanta have been cleared. So that's good. I'm just seeing if we have any additional text about that. We don't, but the severe thunderstorm warnings for the Atlanta area, they expired. That's right. They were set to go at 6:15. So it's 6:16, so they've been allowed to expire, but we're still looking at some very heavy rainfall now moving through east metro Atlanta now, crossing through DeKalb County, down toward the south end of the county is where we're looking at Fulton County. We're looking at some of that heavy rainfall. College Park, Forest Park, scooting through Jonesboro now, but now starting to head toward Lithonia, Snapfinger, and South DeKalb County. And then into Henry County, Stockbridge really getting some heavy rainfall. And we're seeing this bowing effect right here. Look at this. This is called a bow echo. So that's where we are experiencing some strong wind. So that could be 60, 65 mile an hour wind gusts now moving into Stockbridge and just above McDonough and continuing to move toward Rockdale County. And we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Could possibly see another warning come up for this for Henry County, maybe Rockdale County. But as for right now, no warnings in metro Atlanta. But we do have this one here for Macon. And we can get a better view of this with our friends at the Jeffersonville radar site. What a great site. That just got upgraded last year, which was great because it would go down and not work when you needed it the most. And fortunately, the Weather Service did some major upgrades to that radar site last year, and it has been very dependable ever since. I'm knocking on wood. I don't want anything to happen to it. With the storm system starting to approach it, it looks like the Atlanta radar survived the storms and the strong wind gusts, so that's good. So hopefully the Jeffersonville site will also be all right through this storm system here. So severe thunderstorm warning for Macon, pretty much right there to downtown Macon, and then south and west of the city, Lizella, Skipperton, Payne, Wesleyan, down to the southern split there of 475 and I-75. You're in the warning polygon. And then heading on out toward the Eisenhower Parkway, Lizella, as I mentioned, Knoxville, and Roberta, you are in the warning polygon and experiencing the heaviest of the rain right now with and the wind now moving into Roberta and Knoxville. So this is in effect until 6:45, and I think we'll probably see this one play itself out because this is a big storm. This one has not really shown any signs of weakening, and we're just watching out for any sort of rotation, very, very broad around Roberta. I don't think we're going to see a tornado warning issued on that anytime soon. But we'll watch it. Storm report coming out of Polk County, northwest Georgia, with a tree down on Ake Station Road, coming out of the EMA office in Polk County. So several reports of damage up there around Cedartown and Rockmart. All right, let's check in with our two storms here that we're watching. Number one, still looking at just a partial severe thunderstorm warning here, covering eastern Clay County and western Calhoun County. Early County was canceled from this severe thunderstorm warning. So we're looking at the bulk of that cell. It looks like it's really moving out of the polygon now, moving into southern Randolph County. So pretty good cell, but the Weather Service out of Tallahassee not calling this one severe for now. But Randolph County will continue to keep an eye on that. And then moving up toward the north, now moving into toward Chattahoochee County, Georgia, crossing the river, moving in from Alabama. We do see this thunderstorm that is a severe thunderstorm, and we saw some rotation. I think we're just getting some noise now. That doesn't necessarily look like a couplet anymore. I think we're just getting some radar noise. But that one, I do believe, was producing a possible tornado in Alabama, and appears that maybe that one has lost some of that spin and some intensity as it crossed through Barber County, Alabama, and up in the Russell County, Alabama. So that's good news for sure. But it's mainly confined inside Russell County now, and then starting to move in toward Chattahoochee County and into parts of Muskogee County near Columbus. Looks like some very heavy rainfall down in south of Columbus. Just looking down, and where 411 meets up with 520, and that's where we have some of the heavy rain. 185, 411. The main spur moving through Columbus there. That's where we have some of the heavy rainfall going on, and then back to Macon, and we'll flip our radar sight again just to get a nice, good view. All right, got a new severe thunderstorm warning in southwest Georgia. This is going to be for Calhoun, Randolph, Terrell County. So we're just talking about this storm, so it is going to be holding together and enough to get another severe thunderstorm warning. So this is going to be in effect until 7:15. Doppler radar indicating that thunderstorm 7 miles northwest of Edison, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust with this storm. Let's flip back over to Dothan radar, and we'll get a good view of this. Here you go. Got pretty good storms north of that as well, up around Westland. But those aren't warned up in Stewart and Webster County. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the southeast portion of Randolph County. Cutbirth is not in the warning, but Shellman is, and Terrell County, including Dawson and Sasser, and up to Braunwood. And just so we can get our radio partners online with this, stand by with me just a second here, and make sure that we have our radio stations in Albany covered. This is the Georgia Weather Net, not only online, but on the radio as well. So we appreciate any way that you are picking up our feed. And thank you for for subscribing on our YouTube page and liking the Facebook page. Appreciate that. Got a few hundred there on the Facebook page, and that's always nice to see. And so for our friends on the Albany radio stations, we're just getting their information out to them as well. So that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Randolph County, the southeast corner, southeast half really of Randolph County, and Terrell County, including Dawson and Sasser, Braunwood. The Parrott community is in there as well. So just to make sure you kind of know where we're talking about. So you see Albany is right here, and then we're just up to the northwest here with this severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15, and that's just an extension of this warning that's going to expire here in the next few minutes, that continuing to cover portions of Clay and western Calhoun County. But that's beginning to move out of that area and now moving into southern Randolph County, really over the just east of Coleman, and then continuing to move up towards Shellman, and then after that should be crossing on into Terrell County. We'll zoom out again and just get another big picture look at what we have going on. Let's take a look at Macon again, and sorry about the back and forth, but we're just switching radar sites to give you the very best view of what's going on. This is the storm with a lot of wind, and now we're looking at a little kink in the storm, so this is going to be something worth watching right here. So this is where we can get a little bit of that inflow. That's the steam that the storm needs to get going, and that matches up with that broad rotation we've been watching. This is not tight rotation. This is certainly nothing that gets the tornado warning issued for, but it's broad enough that we know that this storm is not losing any intensity by any means. If anything, it's going to be strengthening when you start to get these little inflow notches like this. That means that the storm has a ways to go before it fizzles out. So Macon, Bibb County, just be ready for this severe thunderstorm warning moving in to your area as it moves out of Crawford County, heading through Knoxville and Roberta, and we'll be crossing over the Crawford-Bibb County line shortly. Should be moving in about 15 minutes, crossing into Bibb County, and then should be up toward Macon at around 35 minutes from right now. So 6:25 is your current time, and put this track back on again. So should be in Macon a little after 7 o'clock. 7:05, 7:10 should be in town. All right, severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee, Marion, and Muskogee County. So back down to the Columbus area we go, and there it is. That's part of that system there that we saw some rotation on earlier, so we're going to pay close attention to this storm. And get the info on that as everything's coming in. I'm getting this the second that I receive it. I'm getting it out to you here. So severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Marion, southeastern Muskogee, and northeastern Chattahoochee County until 7 o'clock. Doppler radar indicating that severe thunderstorm just over Fort Benning, just north of the fort, about 8 miles north of Cusseta. It's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So this has the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust as well. So right over Fort Benning and continuing to move toward the northeast. Should be to Geneva if it holds together. Geneva's outside of the warning polygon, but just know you're downstream of the severe thunderstorm around 6:53, and showing it continuing to move up toward the Butler area. Another round heading toward Butler. But we'll get to that when it's time. But as for right now, we are looking at this severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Muskogee County, Chattahoochee County, and just an extreme northwest portion of Marion County, south of Juniper. Juniper is up in Talbot County, but you get south, you go down 355 from Juniper and get into Marion County. That's where we have our warning polygon extending into that. So if you know any folks there along Highway 352 and 355 and where they intersect, which let me just zoom in on that right here in this area, just let them know we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that's moving that way, and just to be prepared. Not really showing any concerns for tight rotation now, just watching that very broad rotation as it moved in from Alabama and still hanging in there. So possibility of a tornado with this, but not an issue at the moment. Also, we have this severe thunderstorm warning we've been talking about. This is in effect until 7:15. A little more of a stretched out polygon here, so covering a little more territory for Randolph County, most of Terrell County in this severe thunderstorm warning. Is this one new? Did they update this one? All right. Okay, so that's that has been that's the same thing that we have here. But the severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun and Clay County, that has been expired. So it had 2 minutes to go anyway. Now it's off the board officially. So Calhoun and Clay County, that storm has moved out, now moving up into Randolph County, next stop Terrell County. And if it continues on that path, heading towards Sumter County, and maybe another round of storms for Americus. Already raining there pretty good right now, but could see these cells continue to move up toward at least southern Sumter County over the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes or so. Give you the big picture here and zoom out once again. Up in North Georgia, around metro Atlanta, just looking at the heavy rain, still gusty winds, nothing severe. Our severe thunderstorm warnings are pretty much there in the south, or the I guess the middle part of the western part of central Georgia. Trying to figure out a good way to describe this, but the Macon area do have this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 for Crawford County and most of Bibb County, all the way up to downtown Macon, all the way up to 75, 16. Then you get up 129 and heading up toward Gray, and things will. You're outside of the polygon, but it will be raining, and you'll see those storms moving your way as well. Let's take a look at the velocity just to make sure we don't have anything significant. This is still going to be a spot right here that I'm watching, right there. And if I flip back and compare this to the reflectivity, you can see that matches up with an edge of the storm. You can see a little bit of an inflow right there. So don't have a tornado warning on this yet, but there is some broad rotation, so just worth noting. And you can see that is to the northeast of Roberta, and that is moving, going to be crossing the Crawford-Bibb County line around Lizella, and really right along US 80, Columbus Road. So just be advised, Lizella community, you're under the severe thunderstorm warning, so you're prepared right now, right? So just be prepared for the possibility of this storm could be spinning up. With any of these severe thunderstorm warnings we've had, there is the possibility of a tornado. As for right now, this isn't concerning, but it's something to keep an eye on. Get just about to cross into Bibb County near Lizella, which is right there. So this is the county line between Crawford and Bibb County, and this is where we're looking at some broad rotation. Certainly some heavy rainfall, maybe picking up some hail in here as well, right up in here. This is in the extreme northeast corner of Crawford County. It's going to be up around Hopewell Road, Smith Chapel Road, maybe some hail. But interesting storm worth watching there. And, of course, we're connected with the National Weather Service, just kind of keeping an eye on what they're seeing as well. And so far, they're just going to hold this one as a severe thunderstorm warning, but going to continue to keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at some other storm reports that are coming in. So, all right, we already have this one. This was up in Polk County. All right, my friend David at the National Weather Service says he is noticing that rotation as well. North of Sandy Point, Crawford County. The severe thunderstorm warning will continue, and not getting any indication that that's going to go to a tornado warning. But we're both watching that, so I have confirmation 100% that the Weather Service is keeping an eye on this as well. And I'll tell you what, the folks at the Atlanta Weather Service office, Peachtree City office, they are the best in the business, and knowing that they are watching this is good to know. So just west of Lizella, we're in northeast Crawford County, now starting to move into Bibb County. So this is the Bibb County side right here. So this storm continuing to move toward the northeast, 35 to 40 miles per hour. And we see we had a new sweep. Let's take a look at the velocity. And that looks like that's spread out just a little bit. Let's run this forward. Yeah, it broadened out just a hair. So we're going to continue to see this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. Let's zoom out. We'll go back to take a look at that Crawford County storm, Bibb County storm in just a second. Just want to kind of give you an update of what's going on around the rest of the state. Severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. This is getting down in the southwest Georgia, down around the Albany area, but Albany, Dougherty County, you're clear for right now, but severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for most of Terrell County and the southeast corner of Randolph County until 7:15. And just to make sure, that's noisy. We can't do anything with that, so we'll go back and look at that in a second. Severe thunderstorm warning coming in from Alabama now for portions of Muskogee, Chattahoochee, and Marion County. We've already mentioned that. That's in effect until 7 o'clock. And that's a pretty good cell there, right here in the middle of that warning polygon. That could be producing some hail. And very, very noisy. Not going to get a good shot of that. Let's try another radar site. Don't have a lot to choose from here. You get this part of Columbus. We can try Dothan and see how it looks. Yeah, nothing of alarm there as far as rotation is concerned, but those are some pretty powerful cells. And we'll go back and check on Bibb County, Crawford and Bibb County. Storm is now approaching the county line, and we do have a new sweep, and that broad rotation still there. There it is. It is holding on. So this is now moving in a little bit closer to Lizella, beginning to move into Bibb County. As I mentioned, the Weather Service is watching that very, very closely. But as for right now, no reason to issue a tornado warning. But that is something that they're keeping a close eye on. Heavy rain now in Knoxville, Roberta, the middle of Crawford County, down in the Horn. Just heavy rain. But the severe line is now beginning to move out of Crawford County and head toward Bibb County. And that's going to continue to move in toward Macon. This is a very interesting shape of this storm. You can see kind of a C shape right here. And then the little quiet area right here in the center. Unique pattern there on that storm. But what I really look at is looking at the close-in area of the line. Actually, the C shape may help us out a little bit. This is going to be our inflow. So this is what powers the storm. But if you have all this rain right here, this is going to, if the inflow is pulling in like this is going to pull in more of this moisture, and this could end up cutting off this system altogether. So let's hope that happens before it reaches Macon. And this storm could end up collapsing on itself just with this very odd C-shaped configuration here. Very, very interesting storm system. So our friend, even though we're getting a lot of rain here on the south side of Macon, heading down toward Skipperton and Warner Robins, not quite to Perry, but this is going to help us out right there a great deal, if anything's going to help us with this system. So we're going to hope that maybe that gets drawn into the storm and just pulls it apart. Take another look at the velocity. No big changes here. Broad rotation continues, heading up toward the Bibb County line, the Crawford-Bibb County line. Time is 6:37. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:45. We have no tornado warnings on the map. That's the good news. We've had a few as we move through the last hour or so, but all the tornado warnings are gone, but we are looking at 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. And I'll just zoom in on all of them here to give you an idea of what we're looking at. So Fort Benning and then northeast, heading up through the northeast corner of Chattahoochee County and then into Talbot County. That's where we have some good thunderstorm activity. Severe thunderstorm warning there until 7 o'clock. We have the severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15 down to the south for pretty much all of Terrell County and the southeast corner of Randolph County. And then the main system, the strongest one we're watching here on the board, is going to be this cell, this line really, that's stretching across the line now into Bibb County, coming out of Crawford County. We have a new sweep, so let's take a look at the velocity. All right, this is broadening out even more. There's still rotation, but it's very broad rotation, and this is actually getting a little bit more disorganized than what we were looking at a little bit before. The severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee, Marion, and Muskogee County will continue until 7 o'clock. We'll zoom back in on that one. So the severe thunderstorm located near Elbeck, which is West Fort Benning, about 10 miles northeast of Cusseta, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. So West Fort Benning, Elbeck will be in line of this. Don't forget, we do have that tornado watch in effect for a good part of the state until 9 o'clock tonight. Let me just show you that while we have just kind of a little break in the action. Let me turn off all the radar data and see if we can pull up our tornado watch. There it is in the pink area. So Atlanta, Athens, Columbus, Albany, Macon, a lot of area there covered. Carrollton, Villa Rica, Rome, Gainesville, you're under the tornado watch until 9 o'clock tonight. But I think we'll probably see more of these counties drop off. This area right here was in the watch before. That got dropped off. And we'll probably see a few more of those counties get canceled from the watch. But we'll just continue to keep an eye on it for now. And then another round of strong to severe thunderstorms moving through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning as well. So let's take a look at the composite radar, and we'll just zoom way out here. You can see out to the west, see there's more activity out there. So once we get all these storms out of the way, we're not done. The atmosphere is going to try to re-energize itself. That remains to be seen if that will happen. A lot of times, especially here in the wintertime, we get these storms that come through and just kind of robs the upper atmosphere of all of that instability. Some of the shear goes away. We get a lot of, it's just the atmosphere mellows out after a big storm system like this, and it's hard for anything to pop up. But the modeling is indicating that that may not be the case with this, that may take a little rest for a few hours overnight tonight, and then we get these lines out here. You see that are kind of just randomly sketched across Mississippi and Alabama down into Louisiana. And that could be our next big weather maker through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning and all the way through tomorrow afternoon for parts of southeast Georgia. So more to come once all this moves through. So now that we've reset everything, we'll go back and take a look at our high-resolution radar and go into the Macon area. And we can see that the bulk of our thunderstorm cell there is now almost completely across the county line into Macon-Bibb County. So still severe thunderstorm warning with this. Let's take a look at the velocity. And just that is, I'm just going to call this a nuisance rotation. It's very broad. It hasn't been anything that sound any alarms. It's just been something that we had to keep our eyes on, and we're going to continue to do that because it's not going away. It's still there. And I think what we talked about just a second ago may be happening with this rain right here is starting to just draw in closer and closer to the inflow. And you can see the inflow is not quite as pronounced as it was before. If we can maybe roll back a little bit, maybe. Let's see. Okay. So we go back a few frames. So this was at 6:32. This was 10 minutes ago. And we had this inflow notch right there. And that was pretty healthy. Now we go to where we are now, and you can see it's starting to sort of collapse on itself a little bit. So that's good. That's going to start running into air that's not as favorable for this storm to strengthen, and I think that's why we're seeing that wide rotation is continuing to broaden out quite a bit as it moves into Macon-Bibb County. And so we'll certainly take that. That's good news. No reports of any tornado damage as a result of any of the storms that we've seen so far moving across Georgia. We've had some straight-line wind damage up in northwest Georgia, Polk County, up into Cedartown and Rockmart. But
no tornado damage report so far in the state of Georgia, and that sounds great. Have a tree down. This is another report coming out of Polk County on Yarborough Road. Severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee, Marion, and Muskogee County has been canceled. And the severe thunderstorm warning for Bibb and Crawford County has been expired. So there you go. That's good news. So they're going to call that one quits a couple minutes early at 6:44. And they have expired this one a little bit early, but still going to be seeing some heavy rainfall moving into Macon. And I think that this storm has collapsed on itself. So that is great news. This could have gone the other way with that broad rotation that could have tightened up, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point. So as far as Macon is concerned, get ready for another round of heavy rain. Got some strong gusty winds moving through, but this is below severe limits, and that's outstanding. And same thing getting down toward Fort Benning and Columbus. That is below severe threshold. So the severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee, Marion, and Muskogee County has been canceled quite a bit earlier than planned. So, but we still have this severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. And let's see if we can grab a little better radar shot here and see what we have going on. Yeah, decent cell there. That is not rotation. That's just some noise trying to figure out what's going on with that storm. So I'm not seeing any rotation with this, so that's going to be good. Is this storm moving now near Shellman? And looks like it's going to be grazing just to the west of Dawson. So Shellman is near the county line there with Randolph and Terrell County. And this storm, the center or the bulk and possibly a hail core is just to the south of Shellman. That's going to be down Highway State Route 41. So some pretty heavy rainfall right now and gusty winds in Shellman. And then that's going to continue to move in toward Dawson over the next few minutes. And then continue on up into the northern part of Terrell County, heading toward Braunwood. Should be around Parrott. All right, tornado watch has been canceled for a lot of counties. So let's zoom out and we'll take a look at it. And I'll see if I can draw it freehand as best we can. It's going to take a little while for the graphics to update. So canceled tornado watch for Bartow, Carroll, Cherokee, Clayton. That's a ton of counties. This is mainly, that does cover all metro Atlanta. Yeah, DeKalb and Fulton has been canceled as well. So get the telestrator out here. The tornado watch is going to remain in effect for Barrow, Bibb, Butts, Chattahoochee, Clark, Crawford, Crisp. Again, ton of counties. So let's just kind of draw it free-handed the best we can. So it looks like it's going to mainly be in this area right here. Let's see, Clark County. There's Athens, Clark. So let's get this back in. So kind of going to look like this. Will be our new tornado watch area until 9 o'clock. Again, rough drawing here, but this part of the tornado watch has been canceled. That's the bottom line there, and that's good news. So, again, very stable air up in North Georgia. We'll put the composite radar on and show you what's going on up there. Doesn't mean that the rain's going to stop and no problems. There's still going to be a lot of rain, and we could see some flooding issues in parts of North Georgia. But the tornado risk has been reduced significantly with all that stable air up there. So that rain has helped out a lot, but we're still going to hang on to our tornado watch until 9 o'clock for a good part of southwest Georgia and west central Georgia. And that still includes Macon and Albany and Columbus. And again, we have some other lines that are moving in from the west that are going to be worth watching as they continue to move in closer to the state. So if we can get this warning expired a little early, we'll break off our broadcast for a little while and then come back live if necessary later on tonight or even overnight tonight or tomorrow morning. A couple of special weather statements being issued. Strong thunderstorms will be impacting portions of Macon County, southeastern Peach County, southwestern Houston County until 7:15. So this is going to be up in the Macon area, South Macon area. Also, strong thunderstorms impacting, well, if we were going to talk about this, we're going to have to pull up the Atlanta radar again. as this is going to be for portions of northwestern Oconee, Barrow, eastern Gwinnett, southern Banks, northeastern Clark, that's Athens, northern Walton, southeastern Hall. So that should be just about to Gainesville and Flowery Branch, Jackson, and northwestern Madison counties until 7:15. So not a severe thunderstorm warning. I think I can actually pull up that polygon for you just to show you where that weather statement is. There it is. So the white box is not a severe thunderstorm warning, but that's kind of the level just below that. And it's worth just keeping advised that these storms are going to continue to move through that area. So moving into Auburn about 6:55, Winder at 7:10, Jefferson 7:21, Commerce at 7:29, and Bogart at 7:37. So that means Athens shortly thereafter. So around 7:40 or so, the bulk of that storm will be moving into Athens. And then we have this other special weather statement, which is going to cover Social Circle, Rutledge, and Madison. Should be in Madison around 7:22 if it holds together. And there you go. So I'm going to turn these off. I don't like to keep those on the screen because those cause a little bit more alarm than necessary. So here we are right now. Just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are in our area. Actually, this one up to the north is still in Alabama, but it's close enough that we're seeing some strong thunderstorms moving into Chattahoochee County up near Cusseta. But the one that's exclusively here in Georgia still going to be covering southeast Randolph County and most of Terrell County. So getting some info from the Weather Service office out of Tallahassee, expecting the second wave of thunderstorms into parts of southwest Georgia, moving through overnight tonight through about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's still lines up with our computer modeling. So it will be a long night. We're going to keep an eye on this for you. Let's take a look at this radar picture here. So yeah, you can see a couple of lines. Actually, let me turn the composite back on so we can see what's going on big picture wise. So this is line 1 that we've been dealing with. We have kind of a line right here, and this is really what we're going to call the second line. This is the second wave, and this is moving up, same trajectory as line 1. So that's what's going to be a concern for us here in Georgia through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Southwest Georgia up until around 11 a.m. We'll just call it noon. So anytime in the morning hours, southwest Georgia, so west of I-75, and then east of I-75 all the way into the afternoon hours, all the way into should be after 1, 2 o'clock or so. We should start to see a lot of those storms moving out to sea, but we're gonna watch that through the day tomorrow, and still the possibility of these storms spinning up into tornadoes. So that's going to be worth keeping an eye on. All right, this is the Georgia Weather Net. 6:51 is the time. Only one severe thunderstorm warning in the state, and that's down here in Terrell and Randolph County. That's in effect until 7:15, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on that and just watch and see if we have any other warnings come across over the next little bit. So far, so good. Let's see if we can take a look at the high-res radar here. Just kind of peek into this storm to make sure we're not missing anything. No issues with rotation on this storm. So this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, but as for right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case as it moves up over Dawson and then heading up toward Braunwood. And next stop should be in the southern Sumter County. And we'll see if that gets extended into that part of the area, into that part of the county, rather. All right, so we appreciate you watching here on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for your likes, your shares on the Facebook page. YouTube, if you subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated, and you'll get updates when we go live with any severe weather anywhere in the state of Georgia. And it's going to be a busy day tomorrow. Tonight's going to be busy, tomorrow morning, and then through the day tomorrow. So this would be worth subscribing to the page, and you'll get those updates. And if it pertains to you, your area, or someone you know, then you'll be able to tune in and find out what's happening anytime here on the Georgia WeatherNet and our YouTube page. We also have our 24/7 feed that goes 24/7, and that gives you an idea of what our forecast is for the different zones across the state of Georgia. That's updated several times a day, so you're all able to go there and get that anytime. Georgia WeatherNet 24/7, streaming all the time. And then with severe weather, we add a second channel here and go live and bring you the live streaming on the web and also on the great radio stations around the state of Georgia. So we're just watching this one more cell. This one more is really two cells kind of joining into one, and that has that severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. And this is for most of Terrell County and a good part of Randolph County. Update out of the National Weather Service office. The biggest concern over the next 2 to 3 hours is going to be south and east of I-85, localized flooding due to what we call training of the storms. And I'll show you what that means. You may have heard that term before, but in case, so this is a great example, textbook example of training of the storms. You see that they just kind of run like a train on a track where you get those cells. It's multiple cells going over the same area. And so that's where you have the big flooding risk, and that's going to be the big concern over the next couple of hours. Again, mainly south and east of I-85. So there's your I-85 right there. So we're talking about all this part of the state with possibility of that flooding with the heavy rain. And the Weather Service keeping an eye on, as I mentioned, that other line of cells. Let me turn on the composite radar because this is a little deceiving. It seems like nothing's happening in North Georgia, and there's plenty going on in North Georgia. We're just using one of the sites out of Alabama, so that's why not seeing a lot going on. But this is giving you an indication of where all the rain is right now. So just a ton of rain coming down Athens, up into Gainesville, Gwinnett County, down into Morgan and Walton County, Covington, Conyers, seeing some very, very heavy rainfall. Things are still pretty quiet in Augusta right now, but it's coming. It's kind of been that misty rain throughout the day in Augusta and kind of foggy. Pretty unpleasant day, but the heavier rain is about to arrive. And then down to the south, we get into Greensboro, Eatonton, Milledgeville. That rain is moving your way, and the heavy rainfall right now in Macon. Let's take a look at the high-res radar again. As we were watching that storm system move in from Crawford County into Bibb County, and it looked pretty ugly. And we had a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued with that, but it was allowed to expire. They actually pulled the plug on it a little bit earlier, which was good. And now, it just looks like a big rainmaker. So you can see the storm is starting to spread out, so it's getting into that more stable air. But still, heavy rain is going to be a big factor. But that threat of the possibility of a tornado, that is completely gone at this point up around the Macon area. But they're going to be dealing with heavy rain. And that's stretching on down into Fort Valley. Perry and the fairgrounds will be picking up some heavy rain, gusty winds right now in Perry. And then stretching on down toward Montezuma and Ellaville. We have some pretty good rain there. And down in Jimmy Carter's neck of the woods, Plains, Georgia, with a good thunderstorm cell also moving through western Sumter County. Severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee, Stewart County in effect until 7:30. So let's head down that direction. Here you go. New severe thunderstorm warning, and I can get a better radar shot if you'll bear with me just a second. And we'll grab our Montgomery radar here and take a look at this one. All right, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for south central Chattahoochee County and northern Stewart County until 7:30. Doppler radar indicating that severe thunderstorm over Omaha. That's about 14 miles northwest of Lumpkin, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. And the hazard here will be 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Of course, heavy rain. We have lightning with these storms. And actually, let me pull up and see how much lightning we have. We've had a lot of lightning with some of the earlier storms, and then we've seen some of that die down quite a bit. So I've got another tool here on another computer, and just kind of take a look and see what we have in terms of our lightning. Okay, yeah, still showing some lightning strikes, especially with these storms on the southern end. Lightning has pretty much all but died down in northern Georgia. Some rumbles of thunder up in the northern part of the state, but these cells are still producing some lightning, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. But here's our latest severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for northern Stewart County. It does include Louisville. The storm is over Omaha right now, so you see Omaha there on the map right there. Louisville is right here, and then Renfro is right here. So they're right on the edge of the warning polygon. So that storm is going to continue to track through northern Stewart County and then head through southern Chattahoochee County. And once again, it's going to be that training situation. We put this in motion, and you can see how the storms, it's multiple storms over the same area. So Cusseta, it's been raining there for the last couple of hours. It's going to rain even more. And then you have another couple cells moving your way. So it's just been pretty much nonstop for that part of Chattahoochee County. And we're expecting even more rain to continue, and heavy rain at that. So that's our latest severe thunderstorm warning. We still have our severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Randolph and Terrell County. And that storm, the bulk of it, now just grazing right past Dawson, heading up toward Braunwood and south of Parrott. In Sumter County, same sort of deal. The western part of Sumter County with that heavy rain been experiencing for quite some time, and now we have another couple cells moving there. It's going to bring even more rain and possible flooding. The I-75 split with 475, getting a real good rain right now. Downtown Macon also experiencing heavy rainfall, but luckily not severe. Now we're going out to the west here. Let's go out in Alabama, get down into south of Montgomery, down around Troy and Orion, up to Shopton. That's west of Union Springs in Alabama. This is another cell. Look how organized this is. Wow. So this is what we're talking about. Even though we've had all this rain and the atmosphere should be pretty stable, we're still getting these thunderstorms that are popping back up again and really taking on a great shape. And so that's going to be something we're going to be watching here in Georgia through the overnight hours into tomorrow with that second round that's going to be moving in. The atmosphere, it seems like it's recharging just fine and is pretty much unfazed, at least in the southern part of the state. It's going to be unfazed by these storms that we're experiencing right now. All right, so the severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun and Randolph counties have been have expired. They've canceled that early, rather, but it still remains in effect for Terrell County until 7:15. So this polygon is going to shrink in just a second. You'll see it happen right before your eyes. But the severe thunderstorm warning for Terrell County still in effect until 7:15. Doppler radar indicating that storm continuing to move toward the northeast at around 40 miles per hour, and still the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, which can produce damage to roofs, siding, and trees. So still in the line of this storm will be Dawson, Sasser, Braunwood, obviously, Parrott, Oakville, Graves, Yeomans, Herod, the the Dawson Municipal Airport, and Oliver's Mill. So not getting an update on the polygon, but trust me, we're all clear in Randolph County and in Calhoun County. So we're just the only part of this warning that's still in effect will be for Terrell County. So I was hoping that would update for you, but looks like it's running a little bit behind. All right, so just taking a look up to the north, we see some storms here, sort of in cellular nature, right here and right here. So these storms, all worth keeping an eye on. Nothing severe at the moment, but strong thunderstorms there. We're going to continue to watch those as they move through Marion County. Now heading up toward Butler So already some pretty significant storms in Taylor and Talbot counties, and even in Upson County. And so we'll probably see some more of those storms continue to move up that way once again. And we'll track it for you right here on the Georgia Weather Net. It is 7:03, and our 2 warnings. So finally, we see that Polygon has updated. We just had to not look at it. That was that was the key. So we're still in effect for Terrell County, pretty much all of Terrell County, including Dawson and Brownwood and Parrott, with that one cell that's really 2 cells that join together, continuing to move on up into northern Terrell County, heading up towards Sumter County. We'll see if that gets extended into Sumter. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just seeing that cell weaken quite a bit. So hopefully we'll keep Sumter clear, make it a special weather statement. But you never know. We'll keep an eye on it for you. All right, let's see. Let's flip over to the Jeffersonville radar. I'm going to look around Fort Valley. Let's have some spotters noticing some things there. Let's take a look at what we got going on. Okay. Not seeing what those spotters were looking at, but figured we'd look at it. Just heavy rain, Fort Valley heading in the Perry, again toward the fairgrounds, up in the Warner Robins, stretching up I-75 into downtown Macon. And then you see you get up north of Macon, you start heading up into Gray, Jasper County, Jones County, and the rain just kind of fans out. So that's hitting more stable air. So Milledgeville, yeah, it's going to be raining very heavy in the old capital city, but the severe weather risk is going to be pretty low. That's good news. So Jones and Baldwin County, looking pretty good. You start to get down into Wilkinson County, Twiggs County. Yeah, we may see some more of the stronger thunderstorms moving in. Not as calm conditions there. So that line that's stretching from Macon all the way down to Montezuma, that's going to continue to move toward I-16 and bring some heavy rainfall, and possibly we could see a couple severe cells out of this as well. But for right now, we're just going to watch what we have. And what we have right now, the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, Terrell County until 7:15. As that's moving past Dawson. No big threat to Dawson anymore. And then we have this second severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 7:30 for south central Chattahoochee and northern Stewart County. And this storm moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. You see that's past Omaha at this point. And it's really starting to move. It looks like it may just move north of Louisville and head toward Renfro and in the Cuseta in Chattahoochee County. Have an area flood watch for Clay, Quitman, and Randolph County. Although they have an expiration time here that's already passed, but we'll just know that the flooding is a concern for portions of Clay, Quitman, and Randolph County. So we're getting back here with these cells that we're talking about. Heavy rainfall, the training of the storms, and so it's no surprise that we are looking at some flooding issues there in that area. All right, I'm just kind of scanning through some storm reports to see what we have. Got a rain report. It's quite a bit of rain. We'll get up into North Georgia. We'll zoom out here and take a look at the big picture while we talk about that. Up in Whitfield County. So we get well up into North Georgia, and you see more rain moving up in that direction again, but around Tunnel Hill, if you're familiar with that, along I-75, 1.35 inches of rain. So over 1.25 inches of rain with that line that passed through just a little earlier, and more rain on the way up in Whitfield County. So yeah, this is a big rain event for sure. And while we have a second, let's just see if we got an update on the tornado watch area. And let's see what we got. Maybe. Yep. As a matter of fact, that's great. So we got the updated watch area. So in the pink. So Atlanta, at DeKalb County, and then you get up toward Marietta, Cobb County, Douglas County. You're all out of the tornado watch, which is great. Athens, you're still in. Gainesville, you're still in as well. And then we head down into Macon, Columbus, Americus, and Albany, Blakely, down into Miller County, Mitchell County. Got that tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. So there it is. I think we'll see more counties dropped off, especially up toward the north. So Gainesville, Hall County, you're in it for now, but don't be surprised if that gets eliminated a little bit earlier. So that means conditions are still favorable for a tornado, and we could see another tornado watch issued for tomorrow. That's going to be the thing. We've got another line of these storms that are potentially going to be moving through, and we're just, keeping a close eye on the development of this second line that's really coming together. And you can see we get out there into Mississippi. You got a tornado warning out west of Hattiesburg. Got a few severe thunderstorm warnings up around Jackson and Madison, Mississippi. So, yeah, it's still a lot going on out there, and that's going to be moving our direction. And it looks like if the atmosphere can reorganize itself, we may have another active morning and all the way into the afternoon hours for parts of southeast Georgia. All right, Coweta County, South Metro Atlanta, report of trees down along Sullivan Road. And this comes from a National Weather Service employee. So that could be from straight line wind or possible tornado damage. That's going to officially be determined. It'll take a day or two for that to officially be determined if that was a tornado. But we do have trees reported down in Coweta County. So travel is going to be a little rough through the late night hours tonight and overnight tonight with some trees, likely a lot of power outages. Just check with Georgia Power and see what we have going on with our power outages across the state. Yeah, we do have a number in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, stretching down toward Columbus. So, yeah, not a surprise that we have numerous power outages. I was thinking they had gave a number of how many customers are without power. But maybe that's not a thing anymore. All right. Either way, power outages reported across the state, especially the western half of the state and up around Metro Atlanta. We have some power outages around Monroe and Athens. And surprisingly, not a lot in northwest Georgia. So that's good. Got a couple of reports up around Ellijay and Chatsworth. But it looks like Lafayette and Somerville, Rome, Tryon, their power goes off all the time up there. Everything's pretty quiet in that part of the state, even with all those storms that started moving in fairly early today. So that's good news. All right, it is 7:11. We're going to continue to keep an eye on these two severe thunderstorm warnings. This one for Terrell County should expire here in just a couple of minutes. And hopefully they won't extend that into Sumter County, but we'll keep an eye on it. And it did expire. There you go. So Terrell County, you're done. That'll disappear momentarily. If we're not looking at it, it'll disappear. So look up toward the north. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30, and that is for northern Stewart County and south central Chattahoochee County. And so that's set to go until 7:30. And we can get a little better radar shot here and go high res and take a look at what's going on with this storm. Maybe. Oh, I got you. Well, there we go. Had to press one more button. Now it's coming up. So there you go. Yeah, still these storms are they're worth looking at for sure. Very broad rotation there on this particular cell. So we got a little what we call a mesocyclone. Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. And I think that this warning is not going to expire any earlier than anytime soon. Let's put it that way. Possibly this will stay until 7:30 because that is a a pretty strong cell that we're looking at right here now in the northern part of Stewart County, crossing into Chattahoochee County. So Cusseta, once again, a big storm moving your way. And you can see how these storms are just kind of doing their individual thing. We have a cell right here. We have a cell here. We have a cell here. Right there, you can count one here. So this is, a multicellular complex for sure. And that it obviously can bring some very heavy rainfall and then also bring that flooding as these cells are just training on top of each other. And these cells are really set up like supercells as well. So this is something, you see this shape that we have right here. These are really what we call high precipitation supercells, and we see a lot of those here in Georgia. Very hard to see with your eyes because it's so rain-wrapped, and that's why when these produce a tornado, you don't see them coming. So it's not like the movie Twister where you see the funnel cloud coming 20 miles away and you can take pictures and ooh and ah. We just don't get that here in the South. We get these rain-wrapped storms that you never see. They're just as dangerous, if not more dangerous. But with all the rain-wrapped and all the trees and the hills and things we deal with here in the South, it is a horrible place to go storm chasing because you're not going to see anything. But they do just as much damage as the more picturesque storms up in the Midwest. All right, so that warning has been pulled off the map down around Dawson. That's good news. Still hanging on to this severe thunderstorm warning, and it is severe. Northern Stewart County, right over Louvain, crossing State Route 1, that's US 27. Starting to move into Cusseta now. And Renfro over there on 280, picking up some gusty winds as well. Not really showing a real pronounced inflow notch on this storm, but it's there. It's getting the inflow. It's getting all of the strength that it needs. And when you see these multicellular storms, again, you got one here, there's here, and here. It's the one down here. It's a southern storm that you really want to look out for because you got all this air right here that can feed into the storm. And so they can go for a long time. And that's why out of this multicellular complex we have here, it's the one to the south that has the warning. It's the strongest one of the bunch. Although that storm over Butler looks pretty strong too, but again, that's starting to get into a little bit more stable air, but these storms down to the south are really packing a punch. Looking out into Alabama just to see what's ahead, still looking at those strong thunderstorms holding together without any problem whatsoever. And if they continue on their track, they'll be moving up toward Columbus over the next hour or so. So we'll watch out for that. And we're going to keep it here until 7:30 unless we have anything else significant pop up. And we may. Let's just kind of take a look at our velocity product here again, just see what we got going on. Very loose rotation on that, but something that's going to keep that on the board for a while. Other than that, not anything to be terribly concerned with. We'll flip over to Dothan radar. Take a look at this cell. Moving out of Dawson. Yeah, this thing is falling apart as it moves up towards Smithville, heading into southern Sumter County. Still some heavy rainfall there, but that is not severe by any means. So that one's coming apart at the seams. This cell here, moving through northern Stewart County, heading up into Chattahoochee County, is not falling apart by any means. It's still producing some very heavy rainfall, and it could have some more strengthening to go before it's all said and done. So we'll see if we get this warning extended into deeper into Chattahoochee County and possibly into Marion County. But as for right now, we're just situated here in northern Stewart and southern Chattahoochee County. Cusseta's not even in the warning polygon, but boy, it's really getting the rain right now. All right, this is the Georgia Weather Net, live on YouTube and on Facebook. Thanks for your likes and your shares on Facebook, and thank you for your subscriptions. I know you hear that from every page you go visit. They say subscribe and ring the bell and all that kind of stuff, but it really does help a great deal with the channel. It also helps you make sure you get these warnings as necessary as we cover the entire state of Georgia. If you're living in a part of the state now that's not experiencing the severe weather, consider yourself lucky, but it's coming your way. We have 2 severe weather seasons here in Georgia. We get the severe storms really into the fall and into this early part of winter. I know we're in January now. We're really starting to get into winter, but we do have the clashes of these air masses, the warm, moist air down from the Gulf and then the cooler air from the north, and then we get that in the springtime as well. So once we get into the dead of winter, we're okay, and then the middle of summer, it's just those air mass thunderstorms that we deal with every day. But severe weather can happen very, very often, even here in January, here in the state of Georgia. So it's just something fun we get to deal with. And we've had some really spectacular weather patterns over the last few weeks with that extreme cold over Christmas. And that was part of an Arctic front. We don't experience that every winter. You know, that's something that doesn't come around very often, thankfully, because I don't know if we could handle it every single winter with busted pipes and all that horrible stuff. But what a mess that was. And then we warmed right back up, and that's where you should be clued in that something is going to happen. When you get warm temperatures, warm, humid air, especially when you're dropped down to single digits, then you get, warm again, get up into the upper 70s, parts of South Georgia near 80. And then we get a clash of these air masses, and that's why these storms pop up. So that's what's going on. So the only warning right now is going to be south of Columbus, northern Stewart County, into southern Chattahoochee County. And this is in effect until 7:30. And we're just going to watch this for another 10 minutes, and hopefully we'll get this out of here and we'll be quiet for a while, because I will be back live again, I'm sure, at some point overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, because we still have an atmosphere that's ready for these storms to kick up. Keep in mind, we've had a lot of rain here in North Georgia, so this is a pretty stable air right here. We're starting to see some stability settled in right here. But then when you get down into South Georgia, look at this. I mean, this has been pretty much dry. There hasn't been any thunderstorm activity down in here. So this air is ready to go. It's been waiting all day long to pop up some thunderstorms. So that's why overnight tonight we have a pretty high tornado parameter. Some of the numbers are fairly high, what we want to pay attention to, down into Albany, Blakely, Cairo, and even into Valdosta. So southwest Georgia, just going to have to remain weather aware overnight tonight. Be sure to be able to have a way to get those severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Weather radio is the best way to do it. They'll wake you up. Having the warnings on your phone, that's kind of the second best way to do it. It's better than nothing, but keep in mind if the cell networks go down, you won't get those warnings through your cell phone. So that's why I call it the number 2 in line. But the best is your weather radio. And I've always said if you have a smoke detector in your house, you need a weather radio in your house. So I'm sure you have the first, so you need to make sure you get the second. And then you can tune in, your favorite TV station or right here on the Georgia WeatherNet and find out where the storm is exactly and what you need to do to prepare. And then you're safe and sound. So really going to be watching South Georgia, especially southwest Georgia, overnight tonight, starting really at around 10 or 11 o'clock through the overnight hours, all the way until around 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's a long time. I know that's 12 hours to be weather aware, but as long as you have a way to get those warnings and you know what to do if you get one, you'll be in good shape. All right, 722. Let's take a look at our Doppler radar, our high-res radar. Turn off the composite and just kind of take a look at what's going on here with this storm, our only severe thunderstorm on the board. And that rotation is pretty much gone, still very, very broad, but that's just an indicator that the storm still has some pretty good strength to it. And still producing that heavy rainfall now, moving into southern Chattahoochee County. Columbus, Fort Benning, still looking at some significant rainfall there. Nothing severe, but just more rain on top of the rain you've already had. And here's this line that was previously a severe thunderstorm warning that moved out of Dawson, Terrell County, now moving into Sumter County. So more rain for Americus. Things are pretty quiet in Plains for the moment. That's good. But from Smithville up to Americus, still looking at some significant rainfall, and then also up into Andersonville as well. But fortunately, at this time, nothing severe. But Macon County picking up some decent rainfalls. We're continuing northbound here, heading up toward Montezuma and Oglethorpe. Let's put this in motion and just kind of watch this storm continue to move up into Chattahoochee County, then upstream into Marion County. Buena Vista or Buena Vista. A lot of different pronunciations for that town. And everybody's got their favorite. So there you go. Looks like things are starting to get quiet in Stewart County. Storm now continuing to push through Louisville, moving up through Renfro and through Cusetta, and then stretching into Marion County. And here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee and Stewart County has expired. So there you go. The storm has now weakened below the severe threshold. Still going to be a pretty strong thunderstorm. Still going to be producing that rain, heavy rains, lightning in there as well. But the severe thunderstorm warning for Chattahoochee and Stewart County has expired. So we'll take one more peek across the state of Georgia, make sure that we're not missing anything, and all is, we're free of the warnings. I don't want to say all is quiet because we still have some torrential rainfall in Macon, all the way down to Warner Robins, stretching into Perry, and then north, now east of Atlanta, heading down into Rockdale County and Conyers, Athens, and Jefferson, Watkinsville with some heavy rainfall, and rain heading over into the granite capital part of the state, into Elberton, and crossing over the river, now moving into Abbeville County, South Carolina. So, yep, plenty of rain across the state, but all of our severe weather warnings are off the board, and if we get some more tornado warnings up, even through the middle of the night, I'll be right here live on the Georgia Weather Net. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and liking our Facebook page.